The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am the show pony, David Rodgers, right alongside the Byron Bagwell. Great to have you along tonight. Sponsored by On the Spot Lawn Maintenance. It is the grass getting too much to handle? Weeds taking over? Let the red, white, and blue take care of your green. Call 904-966-1633. Let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody has joined us. Please bow your head. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we can be together again to bring this show to all our viewers and everybody that's watching, dear Lord. And the information that we pass on, that everybody takes it, dear Lord, and do as they fit, as they seem to do with it, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America, dear Lord, the most freest and proudest country in the world today. Thank you for each and every day that you give us, dear Lord, the waking up just on the right side of the green, dear Lord, and that you just keep blessing each and every one of us and each and every one of our viewers. Again, thank you for our armed forces, each and every one of those men and women, all the armed forces, past and present, dear Lord, that served and given to this great country. Keep a hedge of protection over them and please bring them home back safely to their families. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women that sacrifice their lives each and every day, each and every night, so they can make this place safe for us, dear Lord, and that we can go home each and every night in the comfort of our own homes and feel that we're safe. And if there's trouble or if there's a medical emergency, that we know that those men and women will be out there to help serve us. Thank you for the food we receive each and every day that goes to the blessing of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Thank you again for just letting us do the show. Thank you for this great day. Thank you for this great week. And we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says, Amen. Amen. Let us stand for our pledge. And I'm going to ask Mr. Michael Heater if he'd lead us in our pledge tonight, please.
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host, David Rodgers, sitting alongside Byron Bagwell. Tonight we have Mr. Michael Heater sitting off the side tonight, helping us direct the show, get things going, keep the prompts moving. Also, we got our senior producer, executive producer back there, Mr. Dave Holland. He is back there putting all those beautiful graphics, making sure that the show flows as it normally does. He's doing a great and wonderful job as he always does. Tonight, we got a little special guest as Mr. Austin Stevens has returned. He will be giving the weather for us tonight. So, want to welcome Austin Stevens back to the show. Hopefully, he can start making it each and every week. If not, we'll take when we can get him for sure. Don't forget Mr. Mitchell Gunner. He is no longer with us on Tuesday nights. However, he's got a great show called On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. We'll get into that. Yes, very good show. Got a lot of great guests, got a lot of great drivers. He's back home now preparing for that show tomorrow night, as he will have Alan Arthur on tomorrow night. But we'll talk about Mitchell here in just a little bit. Byron, we got a lot of things to discuss tonight. Not only locally, but we've got national news to cover as well. But we're going to start off. What kind of quote do you have for us tonight?
Well, man is free to unfold his mind, unfocus his mind, and stumble blindly down any road he pleases, but not free to avoid the abyss he refuses to see.
Who?
Once again, man is free to unfocus his mind and stumble blindly down any road he pleases, but not free to avoid the abyss he refuses to see.
Wow. Founding Father? Maybe. I'm going to go Thomas Paine.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Thomas Paine's a good one.
I want to go back and say John Adams.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a hint. She was not around during the founding.
Okay.
Oh.
Political figure?
Somewhat.
No.
I know you like a lot of stuff from Miss Rand, so I'm going to go with her.
Okay.
Is that the young lady on the bus?
No. Ayn Rand was an author.
Yes.
And basically a psychologist.
I'm going to go with Ayn Rand. Y'all can guess too, ladies and gentlemen. I don't watch the show.
Yeah,
So.
give me a moment. Let me
Reread it again, Byron. Reread it again if you
One more
don't mind.
time, please.
If you could do that for us.
One more time.
Man is free to unfocus his mind and stumble blindly down any road he pleases, but not free to avoid the abyss he refuses to see.
Okay, I'm definitely going with Ayn Rand.
I'm going to run with Ann too. Also.
Yeah.
My first choice was obviously wrong because you said she's not a political figure. I was thinking Margaret Thatcher. But
Margaret Thatcher's a great guess, and I love Margaret Thatcher. But
Yeah,
these two got it right. It's Ayn
Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, I've got one for you.
Sure.
There never was a good war or a bad peace. There never was a good war or a bad peace. He is a founding father. Give you that.
That's
Absolutely.
sounds like bad.
There never was a good war or a bad peace.
George Washington's in my head.
Nice guess.
I was going to say Thomas Jefferson.
Nice guess.
Franklin.
Nice guess. 3 nice guesses right there. That would be Mr. James Madison.
Madison.
He said that during his presidency.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
I don't often disagree with founding fathers,
Yep.
but I disagree with both of those statements.
Just
Well, World War II was a good war because it stopped a maniac.
yeah, it did.
And bad pieces, we've had bad pieces before with things like what we did in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and what we did recently in Afghanistan.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Well, that was some great quotes right there. Hey, don't go anywhere because here comes a roundtable right after this commercial break.
Hey Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the all-new roundtable. We go around the region, around the table with the latest news and notes. Let's start off, brought to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call Dave and Company at 904-964-3338. We begin in Alachua County, where no one was injured following a structure fire north of Hawthorne along US 301 yesterday. The detached garage was completely destroyed and several cars were damaged in the fire that broke out just after 7 p.m. Monday evening. The cause is under investigation.
Here in Bradford County, one person was injured after they were struck by a passing car earlier today. The FHP says a pedestrian was walking on State Road 100 near Southwest 85th Lane when a vehicle mirror hit the pedestrian. The female was transported to the hospital, and the investigation is continuing.
Wow. Over to Clay County, where the Clay County Courthouse was evacuated after a bomb scare around 11:30 this morning. The Clay County Bomb Squad was able to retrieve the backpack and was determined not to be a threat. Turns out the backpack contained an item that the individual could not bring inside, so he left it behind. No charges are expected at this time.
Bradford County was one of several counties that received bomb threat calls at their respective high schools yesterday. Bradford High School students were evacuated to the middle school, and a search conducted after a caller reported a device inside the school. However, the same person appears to have called at least 5 other schools, making that same threat. Sheriff Smith and the Bradford County Sheriff's Office command staff commended the school district for their handling of the evacuation of the students. School resumed after lunch 2 hours after the threat was received.
That's great. That was a great call response and a great time. And those guys went in there, searched everything, man. And I tell you, did a wonderful job. And finally, to coincide with Earth Day on April 22nd, Batteries Plus will let anyone bring their household batteries to recycle free of charge. People can bring up to 5 pounds of old batteries, including disposable alkaline batteries, which will be accepted and recycled free of charge during the month of April. The Batteries Plus location at 36A Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park, as well as the Gainesville location at 3318 Southwest 35th Boulevard near Butler Plaza, will take in the batteries to be recycled. Michael, does that also include the one in Lake City as well on US Highway 90?
That is correct. All Batteries Plus locations in the month of April will do that, and that also includes the ones located in St. Augustine, Ocala, and the ones headed out towards Tallahassee.
Nice. Good job there. All right. I've got a couple of other little things that I want to go over. First and foremost, I've never heard of this. I don't know if y'all have. They've been going around. I know Chris very well. He's been on the show. You're invited to a community-wide Easter egg drop. That's going to be Saturday, April the 23rd at 11 o'clock. Location is the Logo Church, 24078 US 301, Lottie, Florida, 32058. Of course, the area code, free barbecue, candy, games, strawberry shortcake, and much more. What they're going to be doing, guys, is they're going to be bringing in a helicopter. They're going to fly 200 feet over the church grounds right there. They're going to drop a bunch of empty eggs. Nobody's going to get hurt.
As long as it's not turkeys.
Yeah, as long as it's not turkeys. You got that right. Great job. Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, we've always got one in the crowd, don't we?
It doesn't matter if they drop live turkeys out of the helicopter because they just fly off.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, first time I've ever heard that being done around here. I have heard that before, but not around here. So ought to be an interesting thing there. I live exactly about 2.5 miles from this church, so I'll probably be able to hear it and see what's going on. So
keep your youngins out from underneath the
helicopter. I don't care if they're empty eggs or not. Yeah, keep them away from that, and I'm sure that they're going to have that place roped off and everything. You can go to Logo Church, 24078 US North 301, Lottie, and you'll be able to enjoy that. Free barbecue, again, candy, games, strawberry shortcake, a big Easter egg hunt. You can turn in those Easter eggs, and you can get prizes for those as well. Also, Saturday, March 7th, 2022, LCCW Championship Wrestling at Calvary Missionary Baptist Church. That's over in Palatka. Family Life Center. Doors open at 3:30. Match time is at 4. Tickets, front row, $15. General admission, $12. And kids 5 and under free. If you are a big wrestling fan, like I used to be, hey, I'll tell you what, it's great entertainment. Cheap entertainment, ain't it, Dave? You can have some fun at those things. And I know the people that are putting this on, Pepper and Ricky Autistic, they do a good job. That's LCCW Championship Wrestling. That's, again, May the 7th, Saturday at 4 o'clock. And front row, $15. General admission, $12. And 5 and under is free. So make sure you go and check that out. Now, here is your weather forecast from Austin Stevens. My goodness, buddy, I'm glad to see ya. I love you. Mr. Austin Stevens, are you here in the house tonight?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back after a very long hiatus. I want to give a big shout out to Michael Heater. Thank you for helping
Find
while I
Austin's
was
Weather
gone.
Service on
You
Facebook
can look for partly
and have a
cloudy
detailed
skies.
local forecast sent right to you.
Hey, everyone. I'm not used to this.
No.
Welcome back.
That's okay.
To myself. But thank you, Michael Heater, for subbing while I was out with a long hiatus. Unfortunately, I had a passing of a family member. But I'm glad to be back. Under clear skies tonight, lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s, mid 50s along the St. Johns River. Partly sunny tomorrow, possible clouds in Marion County with highs in the upper 70s. Temperatures will rebound this weekend, back to near 90 by next week. Enjoy the cool weather while
This
we have
weather
it.
report brought to you
Back
by
David.
Austin's Weather Service.
All right,
Keystone Heights.
Okay,
Fine.
and I appreciate that, Austin. Thank you for that great weather forecast. We'll do that at the end of the night there again. So hey, it's been a beautiful last couple of days.
Yes, it has.
I tell you what, I've been able to go out and cut some grass. That's what I did yesterday. Tested Michael Heater right here. We took care of his property, man. I'm going to tell you right now, Michael can put that thing up for sale and get any price that he's asking for that thing. We cleaned that up. Looks good, don't it, Mikey? Mike?
It does good. I actually took some time. I normally work through my days. Today I decided to do something a little different. I went and got myself a sandwich and I went home. And I sat on the front porch and I just relaxed, looking at a beautiful yard. It is. I mean, there's something very comforting and self-relaxing when you can look out at a beautiful yard. And on the spot, lawn maintenance does an incredible job. They've always done an incredible job. I mean, the weed eating, the edging, everything that needs to be done, they don't leave until the job is over. Last night, you guys were there until almost dark.
Yeah.
And 2 acres is not something to sneeze at, but you guys blew through that in no time at all. The limbs that were down were moved and picked up. Some of the equipment that I have was relocated. It's a full service job, and I really appreciate it. You guys do a tremendous effort.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it. We've still got some lawns to take care of. We're going to take care of Austin's yard there here shortly as soon as I can get it on the schedule. Byron's is going to get his cut next.
I'm excited now that
you,
Michael got
does
his
a great
yard
job.
done.
Yeah, I tell you, Adam, Michael can attest to Adam Wilson. He's my partner in this thing here. Man, he can take that weed eater and he can do some magic with that thing. I'm going to tell you right now. So, anyway, thank him for helping me out yesterday. We got 5 yards done yesterday, so that was a good thing. So, anyway, get ready because we got some other things that we want to talk about, especially trivias that's going on Wednesday and Thursday nights. Hey, prepare for your trivia answer coming up next. So anyway, all right, here we go. Trivia answer. All right, let's start off with, first of all, Wednesday night trivia.
Can I do it?
Can you? Sure, you can do it. But let's start off with Wednesday night trivia at Fun Point. Michael Heater, he is the host over there at Fun Point. Trivia over there starts at 7 o'clock sharp. He's been averaging anywhere between 8 to 12 teams. He's been having a good turnout on Wednesday nights over there. Mike, you've got a lot of new categories that you've been doing. This music category seems to be going over really well. How did What's the Date go?
What's the Date actually went very well. He really engaged a lot of people, and I warned him. So if you're paying attention for trivia, you need to listen to this clue because this answer tonight will be one of the answers on trivia at Wednesday night team trivia at Fun Point. We have the place is packed. I mean, we've been packing it in here. 2 weeks ago, there was not an empty seat, including the bar.
You said 12 teams that night, right?
Yes, we had 12 teams.
And there was people that wasn't even playing that was just hanging out.
Oh,
right?
absolutely, yeah. But it's funny because the people that don't normally play are starting to get pushed back a little bit further and further. Sammy Prater, Sammy,
pushing them back.
She tends the bar, but she's my musical accompaniment. She's my Vanna White, and I'm telling you what, she does an amazing job. We are in sync when it comes to dropping clues, and it's funny. I'm to the point now to where I can ask a trivia question, and if it's kind of a toughie one like that one, she'll go through her musical repertoire and will pull out a song that will serve as a clue, and it just flows. It works great. We have so much fun. We're giving away free food. We're giving away prizes. It's a great time had by all. I would venture to say that it's the best trivia in town. on Wednesday nights. And we would love to have you come out and join us Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock at Fun Point.
You know, you were talking about that, and it is great trivia. I haven't been over there yet. Wednesday nights is sort of a night where I can get some other things done, and I've been wanting to come check this out. And just, even if I don't play, I've been wanting to come check it out and hanging out with Michael. But Sam, and I love her. Sammy, before, you know, I've known you a long time, and I love you. So when I go to say this, she doesn't seem very musically knowledgeable to me.
You would say that, but yet she can come up with some of them. I mean, just off the cuff. I mean,
she is very smart in other things. I just didn't think like musically well.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about a couple of questions, but then she'll fire off and I'll give you an example. Sammy this was phenomenal. So a quick thing like that, for those of you that were there, you know it. So we have our normal double dare. For those of you that aren't familiar with the double dare, one round, you get to pick a category and a question. You don't know the question. You pick a category. If you want to double your score, you can choose to answer it. But if you don't get it right, I take 10 points away from your score. So it's a bit of a risk. You can play it safe or you can go for it. I asked a question and people wanted to do it. It's let's visit the zoo. That's one of our normal categories. It's all about zoo animals like that. So the question was, echolocation is used by this animal to seek out prey and that sort of thing like that. And it was, I mean, people were kind of scratching their heads. And the next thing I know, out of nowhere, I hear the theme song to the 1960s TV show Batman. And everybody in the restaurant started laughing and cheering. And I look over at Sammy, and she's giving me a shrug of shoulders, like, "Well, okay, we just made that easy," because the answer, of course, was bat. So, but she thinks on her feet.
I'm not talking about that way. I'm talking about maybe knowing like 70s, 80s, 90s music artists.
Yeah, and well, it was funny because one of the songs that we do 70s and 90s music.
I knew you did.
And I'd ask her, I'd be like, "Hey, look, we're going to do Name That Tune. I would like for you to do," and I'll say, "I would like to do this song," and she goes, "Oh, by," and she'll rattle off the artist.
Wow.
I was really impressed. She's
impressed me now.
And I'll tell you what, I think a lot has to do with the fact that because she's engaged in the program, we kind of work as a team now.
Right.
She's been really kind of boning up on her skills. She's really starting to learn music.
Probably.
She's really starting to come into her own and does a really, really good job.
Because, usually you get, and Sam is what, mid-20s, later 20s?
Mid-20s,
yeah. Mid-20s, later 20s. And, you get young people like that, Byron, and you say, "Hey, do you know any 70s or 80s music?" And that makes no sense to them. So, hey, congratulate Sammy on that, man, because I tell you, that's really sharp. And I'll take that back what I said. Hey, you're right on it. Then on Thursday night, Byron, we do it at the Downtown Grill. We start at 7:30, and we basically about have the same category as Mike, little different. Michael's got a little bit of different setup over there where he does. I'm more old school guy, where, hey, it's just black and white to me. Michael is fancying it up a little bit. Nothing against that. It's just
it's entertaining.
Fine-tuning.
It is. It's a little entertaining.
Fine-tuning.
And the thing about it is, with our audience, I really do. I kid you not, the last group, I have the Screaming Skittles. That is a team. They come for the third week, and they're preteens.
That's that video we watched earlier.
But they're 12, 13, 15-year-olds.
Right.
And then I've got team Let's Go Brandon, which is a much older demographic, and their views, but that's beside the point. But the point is, I have such a wide range of ages that I have to kind of keep it entertaining, because I can go current events and I can hit the younger crowd, and then I can go back with we interrupt this broadcast, one of our categories, where I provide a breaking news story and you tell me what year it occurred.
Right.
And I mean, we get such a wide range, and you may not know all the answers to all the questions because it's such a wide variety.
Right.
But it's so entertaining because I write them in such a way that even if you don't know the answer, you are like, "Wow, I didn't know that." And that, to me, is the best part, because it's as much
the learning
educational.
part. Yes.
It's as much educational as it is entertainment, and that's the best part of the night.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Where our demographics is more 30 to 60.
Right.
I can keep asking those same questions that I do, with the exception of Riley and some of those that come. I can sort of keep on the same demographic of questions, because I'm dealing with a more of an older crowd than probably what you are, even though you got Let's Go Brandon. You know what I'm saying? In a couple of those, I can sort of keep hours, with stuff that is more older. More older in history and things like that, where the younger generation, sorry to say this, don't get taught history.
Well, I want to relate back to that is my granddaughter's going to be 16. Several times during your show, I've heard her say, oh, we talked about that in class
Yes,
today.
and there was some of that too. Absolutely.
She's big help for our
Oh, God, yes. She knows some of those answers.
I have a feeling you're about to get some of that in Florida again.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. And that's exactly right. But anyway, Thursday night team trivia, 7:30, Wednesday night over at Front Point, 7 o'clock. We doing something a little bit different. Michael's got sort of what's the date. That's sort of a gimme thing. But we have a gimme. It's called And the Answer Is. Usually in round number 4, you can watch this show and get that answer. Do you know what that answer is tonight, brother?
I've said it before on the show.
Have you?
Generally, when the weather's up,
Really?
it's gonna rain.
Hey, don't steal my thunder.
Don't look at here. Hey, no pun intended, right? So anyway, rain is that answer, so you'll get that in the answer is category. So make sure if you come to Thursday night team trivia that you get to either watch this show or make sure that you find out that answer somehow. I'm hoping they're watching now, but they'll have a chance to watch the show there while they're at trivia and go ahead and get that because I'll remind them of that.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Is through the week, we got Wednesday night trivia and Thursday night trivia.
Right in the middle of the week.
Me and the family, we take both nights and actually have a great night. Great week.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we got some breaking news. What do we have, Mike?
Hey, good evening, folks. Real quick, breaking news coming out of Putnam County. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office is reporting that a body has been recovered from a bridge at US 17 near State Road 207. That is between East Palatka going up to Hastings after a man fell into the creek in north of East Palatka. The area was closed down while first responders searched the area. The body has been recovered as of 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, the Sheriff's Office dive team did recover the body of a male that fell into the creek, allegedly has drowned, but that is still preliminary information. The scene is still cordoned off as the investigation continues. Expect delays if you're traveling on County Road 207 in the area of 17 as a result of this ongoing investigation. Again, that's Putnam County in the area of East Palatka for an alleged supposed drowning from a man whose body has been recovered from the creek there at US 17 and 207.
And you heard it right here. First, I'm on the spot with David Rodgers. You're tuning in live. You got that breaking news right here, as we always do if you follow our page. Hey, we're always got some kind of breaking news, something that's going on. We try to get it to you first. So please, if you are not a viewer of On the Spot with David Rodgers, this is how you can do it. You can go to the search button, hit On the Spot with David Rodgers, go down to the middle of the page, hit the like button, and you'll get notified each and every time that we have a show, each and every time that we do a special broadcast, each and every time that we do a live, whatever that may be. And while you're doing that, Byron, you can also go to On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. Go ahead and search that, find that, go ahead and hit the like button, and you'll get notified when Mitchell Gunner goes live with all your motorsports needs, from NHRA to NASCAR to dirt track racing to Formula One to IndyCar. You name it, he's got it. He talks about it. You can join Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, Mitchell Gunner, On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. Please share this with everybody. We'd like to have more viewers. We'd like to hear what you want to talk about. Hey, anytime that you want to talk about something, hit us on the spot 32091 at gmail.com. That's on the spot 32091@gmail.com. You can email us there, any topic that you want to talk about. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about a topic here. Mr. Michael Heater is fixing to dial up Mr. Mitchell Gunner, and I'm going to bring that topic up here in just a second. Some people had asked me about, and we're going to get to that here in a minute. But, hey, make sure you join us on either one of those shows. If you're into motorsports, definitely want to watch Mitchell Gunner. If you're into news, local news, national news, politics, sports, of the other side, you join us. Or how about if you like both? You join both.
Exactly right.
I'll tell you what, numbers, Michael, are up big time. Yes. You ought to see some of these numbers. They're flat out ridiculous. Up 833%. Good grief. I mean, what numbers can you get that from, man? I mean, those are great numbers.
CNN just the other way.
Yes, that's exactly right. So, but anyway, make sure you join Mitchell Gunner tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Michael, if you'll call Mitchell up, I'll go ahead and lead everybody into what I want to talk about, and that is... just go ahead and dial up the phone. We'll put him up on the microphone. Okay. Mitchell Gunner's waiting for us to call him. So I had a question asked to me, and Byron, with a lot of budget cuts and things that's going on in Bradford County, not only is the county getting hit and the city's getting hit, but schools are getting hit.
Oh, sure they are.
And two of the schools that had to be closed down because of that was Brooker and Hampton.
Right.
Two long-standing elementary schools that were around for a long time, they had to shut down. Of course, they're trying to build a new school. That's still in the process.
By the way, they've actually
started breaking ground. They did.
Out there.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that, they are starting to break ground. But anyway, the school board and the county, the Bradford County School Board is having to find ways to pitch pennies and cut back and everything. And a couple of our viewers asked me why the cosmetology program over at the Votech has been shut down. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't know the answer, so I started reaching out, and I got some information on that. So the people that asked me that question, I won't name you out, but I hope you're watching the show, and the answer is coming in the form of Mitchell Gunner. Mitchell Gunner stays up on our local news and things like that. And Mitchell happens to go to a lot of the school board meetings, and also he stays in touch with a lot of the school programs. Mitchell, glad to join us on the show, brother. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you for having me on tonight. Sorry I'm having to do it by telephone, but hey, getting ready for the show tomorrow, so I'm having to get some things in a line.
I'm glad you could join us anyway, brother. We miss you.
Yeah, absolutely, Mitchell. I think you heard what I was saying there. Some of our viewers and some of our fans want to know why the cosmetology program is being shut down at Bradford High School. Can you enlighten us, Mitchell, on what you know and what you found out about that?
Yes, I actually got a hold of the school board, and the school board contacted me back. Now, when we had that first audit a while back that ended up, having to close Hampton and Brooker Elementary,
right,
because of the lack of funds and, falling below that 3% standard that you're supposed to have. They had to do that, or the state would come in and start running the school board for the people, and our school board members, superintendent and assistant superintendent, would not have any say-so whatsoever. Well, another audit was done, and they had found some other things as well to add to what they had found last time. And with that being mentioned, they had to find some ways of doing some cutting of some programs, and one of those programs happened to be cosmetology. Now, the school board does not vote on that. School board is there for policies and procedures, not to close programs. That is actually done between the superintendent of schools and also the vocational college. Well, with a lack of interest, is what I was told, from students coming over to take cosmetology had been dropping off. And actually, after this class was done, there was only going to be 4 students left in the class.
Wow.
And so they were looking at, other programs that needs the money, that there's actually pretty much like a waiting list of students wanting to take these classes. So they wanted to move that money around, and they thought the best idea was to close that cosmetology class and put the funds elsewhere where there was more people interested in the other classes. And so that's how that all came about. Now, the students that are there, they do have the option of continuing cosmetology, either going to Gainesville, St. John's, or Orange Park, and their grants will carry over so they can go ahead and finish out their program.
Hey,
So basically, that's what's going on with the cosmetology.
Mitchell, I got a couple of questions for you. One, you said that the monies and the funds there that these students are already in, you can move to any one of those counties that you named. Now, does that mean they got to transfer schools, Mitchell? Are they going to have to drive over there? Would they be a permanent part of that school?
No, they would just have to go for that program to finish up that program.
Gotcha.
Just the cosmetology program itself.
So they can still be a student at Bradford High School, and then they can go over to Gainesville and take that part of their class.
Right, and that doesn't mean all the students that are there in that cosmetology class are high school students.
Right.
Adults can also take those classes at vocational college. You don't have to be a high school student to do so.
Yeah.
And so I imagine some of these students are of age and that has means of transportation that they can proceed their career in cosmetology by going to those other programs or those other areas to finish up.
Gotcha. Now, is this a permanent closure, Mitchell, as far as you know, or is this something that may come back at a later date?
Well, I think right now what the school district is trying to do, they're trying to get things straightened out financially and trying to put the money where they think that it needs to go.
Yeah, I agree.
I wish they could just hold on. This is just me personally. I wish they could just hold on and let these students that they have in there now to go ahead and finish out the rest of their program and then close it afterwards. But that program will close, I believe, on April the 25th.
I think you're right.
Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday.
Next Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's a sad situation. I don't think the school district and the vocational college wants to do this. I think they're just kind of pushed in the corner and they're trying to just find the correct places to put the money for programs that more students are interested in. And this is not the only program that they have actually stopped at the vocational college. There have been other programs that they have done away with as well.
have you heard of any other programs, Mitchell? I know some that are in the past, and I know this one here. Is any others that you're hearing about that may be coming to fruition on that or coming to pass on that?
Not at this time. I have not.
Okay.
I think they're going to be, assessing other programs as the year winds down, and just, see where the interest is at in all the programs.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
And then make those adjustments. Not to say, there is a possibility they could bring back, cosmetology later and also some of the other programs. But, I was told by a school board member or school board district member that you have to treat it like a business.
Yes.
Because it is for the vocational college to make money.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
See, and
It is
that's-
a money-making business.
Yeah,
That's the difference between a high school class and the actual VOTEC classes. They have
Right.
to make money off of it. It's a business.
yeah, you're right.
That is correct, Byron.
All right, Mitchell, anything else going on that you want to tell us about before we get to our favorite segment, which you know what that is? Anything else going on that is coming up or that you know about?
Well, I want to touch on one thing with the county. You know, it's been a topic for a little bit, and that is the deficit that the county's in, the $2 million. I am waiting on a reply, an email of how many houses have been built since 2008, and I believe that is the last time that impact fees was assessed, 2008 or 2007. I want to know the number of houses that have been built from then to now and see how much money that would have drawn if we kept the impact fees in place. But remember, that was a very low impact fee. I want to say it was right around $500. Now, there have been talk that the commissioners have been discussing of raising it around $2,500 for impact fee, and I really don't think that's terribly bad. Not for our area, not when you go to surrounding counties and the impact fees are triple or quadruple that price. But, you know, something has to be done to help the budget out. You know, we talk about fire rescue all the time, talk about the sheriff's office, we talk about the road department, and that's what impact fees are meant for, is for growth in those certain areas to help balance your budget for those departments, for those particular areas. You know, there's going to be a whole lot more houses going to be built here pretty soon, and Michael Heater, he can tell you that he sees this stuff crossing his desk working for Mercy Management. You know, we're looking at another 250 homes being built out toward Sampson Lake. There's more homes that's going to be being built in the Hampton area off of 21B. I mean, the county is growing, and you cannot support all these people if you do not put impact fees in place for your emergency services. So I would like to see how much it would have been earned if it was at $2,500 per impact fee. And I guarantee you from 2008 to now, I guarantee you will probably have had over 3,000 houses built in that time span.
Yeah, that's probably about right, Byron.
Yeah,
Probably pretty close to that.
Mitchell, correct me if I'm wrong. You can fold that impact fee into your mortgage and escrow, correct?
Well, you have two ways that you can possibly do it. You could pay that impact fee up front,
Right.
and you would not escrow it into your mortgage.
But for the reason I'm asking that is for people that are on a strict budget and want to buy a home. When you escrow $2,500 into your mortgage for 30 years, you're talking about cents every year. I mean, literally paying a few extra cents every year.
You're probably paying an extra $10 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, $10. That sounds right about right, Mitchell.
Could be a little less. Could be a little less than that.
Right.
Which
Mitchell,
is
I
not
want
a- which is not a whole lot.
and I want to see if you guys agree here. Michael, Dave, Byron. You know, you were talking about building these new homes, and you know that eventually all these homes are going to go up. But hey, are these homes going to go up if we ain't showing some kind of growth in our business development with jobs and things like that?
Yeah,
Right. Well, that's another thing that we need to work on as a county, because, you know, the city of Stark's only so big, and they already have a strain on their power grid and the water and sewage stuff.
Yeah.
So the county needs to get ready to make some infrastructure moves so we can we can supply the citizens that are going to be moving here and the citizens that are already here opportunities to work, and by doing that, you take that tax money and it dumps right back in your own county instead of losing it like we are every day with people in our county working in Alachua, Columbia, and St. John's, wherever they're going outside of the county for work.
Yeah, Michael, you wanted to pipe in on that when I asked that question about that, and I think you shook your head. Yes, they were still going to go.
Oh yeah, they absolutely are. If you look at St. John's and Clay counties, you're going to see a lot of these areas that are becoming more and more densely developed. Blanding Boulevard is expanding to 6 lanes from the Middleburg area up to Orange Park. Construction continues. That construction is going to continue to work southward towards Keystone Heights, and you're going to see more development moving into that area. The 5-year plan for Clay County shows hundreds of homes developing in the wooded area just north of Camp Landing along State Road 21, north of 16. So it's coming. People are moving to Bradford County because for the same reason that they moved to Clay County 15, 20 years ago. They wanted to get out of the urban sprawl. They wanted a more country, more relaxed atmosphere. Clay County is moving more urban, therefore people are moving out in that area, and Bradford is becoming a destination for that one. As a result of that, Bradford County is having to expand its own infrastructure to deal with that. As Mitchell said, and other properties that's going in here, you got 25 homes going into the Sandcastle development in the city of Stark. You've got Weldon Place and Welford Crossing apartments that's going in. We've got housing developments down on 21B, where I am issuing 911 addresses at least 2 or 3 a week for new construction in the Speedville area, 21B going to Florida Cracker Kitchen along State Road 100. You're going to see a continued expansion and enhancement of residential structures in Bradford County. The current condition, though, is the commercial aspect of it that, Mitchell, you hit on so eloquently. If we don't bring in other revenue, then we're going to be struggling to try to keep pace with growth, and growth is going to be a major problem. Now, to speak on the city of Stark, yes, we do have the water plant issue that's coming along because there is a strain on the water and sewer systems, and that's the reason why the city is making progress on that one. The electrical grid, it's actually holding its own, and considering that the city of Stark, for a municipality, pays less than comparable cities, including Green Cove Springs and Gainesville and places like that one, you actually get a fairly decent deal with that one. But if we don't start planning ahead, creating that 5-year plan, working on strategic planning, you're not going to be able to keep up with the growth that is coming inevitably.
All right, so with fuel prices, and I'm sorry about that, Michael, I agree with everything you said and Mitchell said. If fuel prices and prices for everything still maintain their level, are you telling me that you're going to have somebody that lives in Orange Park that's got their home over there to move over here to Bradford County and drive that much further to go to work?
I think that I think it's going to come to a point when the country comes to its senses that you'll see the price of fuel drop. And the housing market is going to kind of drop off. So people are going to realize that once the bubble bursts and the housing market drops down, that the opportunity to buy land and the wider areas to be able to take in this area, it's going to become a very attractive draw. And yes, people commute from Keystone Heights to Orange Park and Jacksonville already. It's the people that live in the city that do not want to continue to deal with the urban sprawl, so they will come to this area here, and it's worth it to them to make that commute because they enjoy the rural lifestyle that has been taken away from them by the urban sprawl of the areas of Clay County, St. Johns County, and Duval County.
Even at $5.55 a gallon, Mike?
You cannot
at $5.55 a gallon, Mike? And now I'm going to let Mike rebuttal. Because at $5.55 a gallon,
very few people drive big trucks requiring that cost of diesel fuel.
Still doesn't matter.
Okay,
still got to pay for the fuel, right?
But yes, gas is starting to drop a little bit. Gas is down below $4 a gallon here locally. But again, it's not going to stay there. And even if it does, that's a decision that people have to make.
And that's what I was going to say. We had to put something, Michael, here. And I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
We had to put something here to be able to attract people at least to come here. If there was an Amazon warehouse sitting over there where CMC used to be, and that was a railway that can hire 300, 400 people or more.
Oh, sure.
Do you think, boom, You're talking about 250 homes? 250 homes went to 550 homes.
Exactly right.
That we have to do something. I agree with some people coming this way, but we have to put something attractive out there, Byron and Mitchell and Michael and Dave, to bring something here. At least something. We got to do something.
Yeah,
Here's what I'm going to say about the assessment fees. They are a very good thing to develop our community. But if you can't afford the escrowed amount, or you can't afford to pay it outright, there is always an option of buying a house that already exists, and then therefore there is no fee. So, I mean, you have plenty of options out there, and there are plenty of nice houses in Stark and the surrounding areas that are available that you can do if you don't want to just build a new house, which I completely understand right now because real estate is through the roof.
Yes, and that's
right now it's cheaper to build than it is to buy already standing because of the
Yeah. So it's a catch-22 for the Bradford County government and City of Stark government. But at the same time, if you can't pay for it, you can't pay for it. So you find other options, and then we need more business.
We do.
That's just the bottom line. The other thing we need to do is stop wasting money. We had a conversation about 2 weeks ago about people buying ice makers for $5,000 when they could have paid. And I don't know if we had the conversation or not that night about the soundproofing offices in Stark at the City Hall.
We didn't even mention that.
Why are we soundproofing offices? And the excuse that instead of actually having to admonish people in there and nobody else overhearing it is garbage. Why are you doing that? If you're be $1 million like what Michael Eater said, if you're in a hole, why are you keeping on spending money? I mean, with some people that are in our government, I'm telling you right now, I would have looked at them and went, keep all that soundproofing out of my office. I want everybody to hear everything I say.
Yeah, now you're talking. Now you're treading on somebody's civil liberties, because if I'm your employee and you come at me and people are overhearing a conversation that we're having, that's a problem.
Shut the door.
Yeah, you can shut the door,
and
yet you can still hear.
See,
so I listen. I don't disagree with you on that point. However, a $500, $600 soundproofing is not going to make a dent in that kind of a budget. That's the same argument you have with the fire department. The fire department budget is due to personnel costs. Telling a fire engine we don't want to send you on medical calls because it's going to cost us a few $100s in fuel is a drop in the bucket compared to having to lay off personnel or not fill open positions, because it costs more money to fill those positions than it does for the operational costs.
How many drops in the bucket do you want, though?
I agree. I'm not disputing that.
That's the thing. It's not just one thing. It's over and over and over and over again. And then stuff like that may have a reason for the exact same reason that you just talked about.
Well,
it's perfectly legit.
The one thing with the county being $2 million in the hole and growing is not all the commissioners' fault that are there now. It's something that's been being kicked down the road for over at least probably the past 10 years. That there's been a budget issue, and we just kept on kicking the can down the road and kept on getting what we wanted instead of what we needed, and that's why we are in the place that we are right now. And it is the board's responsibility to go look at the budgets of all the departments, and I don't think all of them have been doing that compared to one of the meetings that I went to and some of the things that I heard, and also watching some of the live from there, that has not been being done. And each department is responsible for their own budget. Also as a county commissioner,
sure,
and also as the county manager, it's your responsibility to make sure that those departments are staying within their budgets as they have presented, And if there is something that needs to be bought outside of their expenditures, that has to be brought to the board, and the board has to approve for them to go ahead and spend outside of what they have projected for that year, and I just don't think that has been going on.
So
there also hasn't been budget constraints that's been going on by the departments of projected plans for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years out. That is one thing that you have to do as a maintenance guy, or over a maintenance department, as a maintenance director. You got to know every piece of equipment that your county buildings have. You need to know the life expectancy of each piece of equipment, and you have to put that in there on your constraints, budget constraints, when it gets close within 10 years of them pieces of equipment having to be replaced. So by the time that you get there, you have the money to get it replaced. You don't not do budget constraints and wait to the last minute and go, oh, guess what? This piece of equipment broke down. We can't get parts for it no more, so we have to replace it. In the meanwhile, you should have been saving money or had it on there to show that it needed to be replaced. And those type of things have been going on in the county, and they need to be addressed so they can balance their budget correctly and get us back in the positive and not in the red.
Michael, a question to you, because Mitchell mentioned the county.
Yes.
So you know in the city, and by the way, let me go. Michael's already broken. I need to go find out how many hits there was. By the way, you want to tell everybody what you're doing before I ask you this question? Michael Heater is actually running for office. You want to tell him what office you're running for?
Chief dog catcher at this point, but at this point, no, I am. I've announced my candidacy for the City Commission of Stark for District 1, which represents the south side of the city, the entire area stretching from Collie Road across Alligator Creek, and then taking in the South Business District along Walnut Street 301.
How many residents, Michael, in that?
About 1,100.
About 1,100. So that's, hopefully we'll have a good voter turnout for that when that happens. I know you're going to be going, you're going to be putting signs when all that happens.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to you on that. I do want to ask you something. Mitchell mentioned the county, so I'm going to mention the city.
Okay.
You know, Byron mentioned about soundproofing.
Yes.
Offices. Yes. Now, does the city commissioners have to approve that, or can that be taken up by the city manager or the city clerk? Can they do that on their own?
They have the city clerk's office and the city manager's office have items for facilities. It can be spent out of facilities budget, but it is a limited budget, so they don't necessarily have to go for commission approval unless it's going to be like a renovation of an office that exceeds the $1,000 threshold. In this case, it did not. It was a matter of adding a bit of insulation. And again, believe it or not, part of the issue was that there was an air conditioning vent that was cut into the door. I mean, you could hear a telephone conversation, and I don't know about it was that. And for me personally, you know, when I was a supervisor in the fire department, if I wanted to have a conversation with one of my personnel, I would praise them in public. But if we had to critique something, we'd do it in private. And I don't want everybody else to hear this coming down the hall, and I'm on the telephone. Maybe I'm having a conversation with my wife. I don't want everybody in the world to hear my conversation with my wife or my children. So if you have an office, and that is your office space and your personal space where you're trying to perform your duties, then you have the right to have that type of environment where you can talk privately and securely. You know, if the city manager and the city clerk want to have a conversation about budget issues, that's not necessarily something that needs to be broadcast throughout all of City Hall. And in this situation, it was a measure that was taken not so much to try to hide anything as it was to alleviate a concern about normal day-to-day operations.
And let me go back and say, usually when you're David and you've got employees, when you are, we'll call it critique, if you want to call constructive criticism, if you want to call that way, to me, it's you know you're getting onto your employee because he or she did something wrong. Now, in my case, we have a conference room, or we have a couple of conference rooms that we can go to. Now, it's big. There's 2 doors on each side, but there's a window there, so people can still see in there. But somebody like myself, Michael, you got a deep voice. Byron, yours can be too. Somebody like me that talks loud already could hear, you know what I'm saying? As people are walking by, could hear what I'm saying. Sure. Even though that, Michael, I don't mean to do that.
Sure, absolutely.
It's just my voice inflection. It's the way that I come across. And I don't know, I don't know who all works down there at the city. I know Miss Lisa and Mr. Crosby and those guys that work down there. I know their voices a little bit, but I mean, if you're saying that you could hear something before could you imagine me getting onto somebody or me just having a regular conversation in that particular office?
Sure. I think the biggest problem with this is that how long had it been like that and nobody else had done that? I think that's really what the problem is with that.
Well, maybe that's why a lot of people may have an issue with that, and you may be exactly right. I don't know.
It's just, look, the problem is, to me, with all of it, it just keeps steamrolling.
Well, that's what Mitchell said, and he said,
you're talking about the little drops in the bucket, but it keeps on going. And I understand $500 it is not a whole lot to insulate an office in a budget. It's not. But when you add that on top of everything else, people just start going, when did it ever end? Because my taxes are about to go up to pay for the stuff.
Hey, Mitchell, I want to go ahead and cut this off. We're getting into time here, and I've still got to do what's the date here. We can go on this forever, and I think this is a topic maybe that we ought to put off for another Tuesday for sure, because this is a whole show that we can just talk these two particular entities about all day long. And I want to go ahead and cut it off here.
I'll even go do you one further if for the point of discussion, and I'm gonna ask Mitchell to help me with this. And I know you want to speak to me. We'll talk here like that one. I'm happy to put in a public records request to review budget numbers.
Absolutely.
And I think you'll see the city's actually much better off than the perception is. County, maybe not so much, but I think if we get a public records request, we can have an informed conversation about the budget, and then I'm all for infrastructure. I'm all for doing what we can to build up the coffers, not at the expense of the residents, but in a way that's going to benefit the community both short term and long term. I would be happy to pull a budget and let's go over some numbers.
Let's do that.
There has to be a balance with it.
Sure.
Michael, just real quick before we get off the subject, what is the price? What is the cost there at the City Hall before something has to be made as a capital project, capital improvement? Do you know what
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I have a number in mind, but I'm not exact on it, so I want to get that to you. I don't want to give you a number and make it sound like, I was mistaken. No, let me research that one, because that's part of the budget issue like that one. I can get those numbers, and I think you and me sitting down and going over it, I think that'd be beneficial for the two of us. It'd be beneficial for me because I'm always about trying to educate myself, especially in the city, but I think the viewers would appreciate getting the facts straight from us that would allow them to make informed decisions as to what's going on.
Yeah, and I think most of the time the problem is, on a state level, which doesn't involve the city or the county, but it may have something a little bit to do with it. Usually, if you don't use all your budget every year, your budget gets cut for your certain departments. So it's very important that those departments
fully agree,
spend
Mitchell.
all the money that they have for what they need.
Yeah, I got you. Fully agree.
Right.
All right. Hey, Mitchell, thanks for joining us, big guy. Plug out tomorrow night, real quick. 15 seconds. Plug out.
All right. We're going to have Top Fuel driver Arthur Allen joining us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on the Spot Motorsports. This is our third guest that we've had on the show. Last week we had Erica Anders and Christian Quadra. We also live stream the racing action from Gainesville Raceway. It's starting to become a really big hit amongst racers and their families that are watching it all over the state of Florida. So if you haven't liked our page, come like it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining in, brother. We love you. We miss you. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers and your guest. All right, now everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, where me, Byron, and Michael Heater sometimes is employed. We do the football games on Friday night. Michael's been doing some voiceovers. We've got some work to do. Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Bellis, and the Bradford County Telegraph, John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the dates. These are the headlines from the Bradford Telegraph during the third week of April in what year? O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. Thousands lose power as storm passes. Was that the third week of April of 2016, 2018, or 2020? O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. And Byron, thousands lose power as that storm passes through. Third week of April of 2016, 2018, 2020. This is where you, ladies and gentlemen, can play the game right here. And we're going to give you some more, a little bit of a hint, and then we'll get to your guesses. Byron, I'll read the first one. You can read the second one. Mike, can you read the third one?
I can do the third one.
You can do the third one, and I'll read the fourth one. Members of the New River Solid Waste Association congratulated outgoing Executive Director Darrell O'Neill on nearly 24 years of service, a tenure during which the landfill underwent an enormous amount of change and innovation.
Florida's Department of Transportation scheduled to begin construction phase 2 of its concrete test road along the north side lanes of US 301 between Lottie and Clay Hill.
Okay. Coach Chandler was eliminated as the boys basketball coach after a tumultuous season. It culminated in his removal from the high school basketball program.
All right, over 7,000 Clay Electric customers lost power throughout the co-op's 14-county coverage area as storms passed through northeast Florida over the previous weekend, with most outages and damage reported in Marion and Putnam County. All right, O'Neill departing landfill after 24 years now. FDOT building concrete test road north of Lottie. Chandler out as BHS boys basketball coach. Thousands lose power as that storm passes through. The third week of April, 2016, 2018, or 2020. This is where you, ladies and gentlemen, watching the show can play. If you get that date right, we put you in a drawing at the end of the month for a $25 gift certificate to the Downtown Grill. You can use it whenever you want. You can use it on trivia night. You can use it on Friday night. You can use it on Monday night. You can use it Wednesday. It doesn't matter to me. $25 gift certificate to some of the best food around, the Downtown Grill. Go in there. Chrissy and Ricky Thompson's owners and operators. And of course, the Downtown Grill staff, always the lovely waiters and waitresses that work in that fine establishment. So here's your chance to guess. Michael, I'll have to read these comments. We have a lot of them. I'm just going to go through them. You help me out as well.
I had to go back to my brother because
okay.
You want me to go ahead with?
Yeah, go ahead. And then what do I
was talking about home prices. He said they're getting to where people in Bradford County can't afford them because the big money from up north is driving the cost up.
You've got a point.
You have people moving down all the time, and they're willing to pay a whole lot more money than people from here can.
Yeah.
And the other comment is you can't make a lot of money in Stark. You have to drive out of the county.
What we talked about. By the way, Mr. Dwight Allen, Mr. Michael Heater checked. I've checked. Byron has checked. I am sorry, brother. I don't know what's going on with your Facebook and not being able to come onto the show. I hope he's petitioned Facebook about that. We cannot figure it out. But you know what's funny? I think, let's see if he'll answer you. I think he can get on the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. That's the funny part. He can like one show, and then this one, he can't even get on and comment and see what's going on.
He's off now. He said he was going to go to bed.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we can ask him about that. Gail Allen, thank you. Byron back. Byron Bagwell, thank you for joining us. J.J. Thompson, speaking of the Downtown Grill. Miss Shirley Bagwell, Mom, how are you? Love you. Hey, looking forward to that cake. Oh, I just say.
What cake are we talking about?
Ooh, she was supposed to make me a strawberry. You ain't supposed to know nothing about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, secret. Ancient Chinese secret.
That's all right.
Okay.
I'm getting one of those pistachio cakes.
You dog, what are you getting? Oh, my God. Vicky Taylor Peterson's watching. Renee Stegall Shaw said, look who made it. Renee said Ann Landers on that guess. You like that, didn't you? Marvin Tomlinson's on. Shirley's back on. Lynn Bergman, Phil Jackson, Jeff Goins, Phil Jackson again, Susan Cunningham, Roger the Tornado Cruz, Renee Stegall Shaw. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Arthur Carlson, WKRP station manager. Michael Heater, do you see what you started? And the craziest girl that's on the show, you get her riled up.
Listen, I'm sorry, but as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
I have one reply to that.
Yeah.
Connie Katang.
Yes.
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 That's correct.
That's correct.
Always default.
Always the
With WKRP to Connie Katang.
Yeah. Bobby Gibson out of Birmingham, Alabama. Big Alabama Crimson Tide fan. Trent Bright's on. Edwin Bradford, good evening, sir. Mitchell Gunner was just on with us. Randy Brooks. David Theus. Bats, he said. Michael, he got your question right.
He did.
Bats.
That's right.
Lynn Hines Higginbotham is watching. Robert McGee, good evening. Good luck, Heater, on your commission run.
Thank you.
Donna Jackson's on. Christopher Davis, Slice and Dice. Don't forget, open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You can go up there and get some of the best barbecue, some of the best hamburgers, and some of the best food around. Head up North 301, Dave, into the city of Lottie, the big metropolis of Lottie. Got all kinds of skyscrapers. It's actually got the Burj Khalifa there. You know that, the Burj Khalifa, or the Khalifa Burj, or whatever it is. That one that's in, where's that? UAE. The United Arab Emirates. All right, now. So, yeah, okay. Anyway, you go over there, turn left on 225, which is Madison Street. He's right there to the left. Make sure you go see them. Tell them we sent you. Hey, Greg Rolls on. Melba B. Johnson. The model, Sharon Pettiprin's on. Pepper Autistic, we just went over your event. Yep, I got him on that one. Kelly Converse says, $2,500 is still very cheap and would help with the growth, Bradford, that is coming. The county is missing an opportunity, and the city for that matter. Billy Jackson, it's a lot for many who have mortgages. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean,
it is what it is. Take a look at the impact of Clay County. And,
Ricky Autistic, we just talked about you as well on your wrestling. Robert Griffiths is on. When I say cheap, I mean cheap for an impact fee standpoint only.
Yes.
Yeah. Rhonda Lynn Strickland, I hope we answered your question during this during the show here. Again, very sad situation, but I understand why they had to do it now. And it's not going to be a popular decision everywhere, so it is what it is.
You have to have enough students.
Absolutely.
To be in that class.
Yeah.
They're going to close those classes.
Yep.
At the VOTEC. I mean, it's like a college.
All right. Hey, old boy. That's my buddy Shane Nash that works with me over at Lake City. I call him old boy. That's what everybody calls him. Big Shane Nash. What's up, brother? The average home price is cheaper in Bradford to help compensate. Average home price in St. John's and Duval is $350,000 plus for what I've been told. You are exactly right, and that number is probably a little higher.
Well, and not, on top of that, they just did highest taxed counties in the nation, and St. John's County ranks 11 in the nation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember, there's another county that ranked in the top 15 too in Florida. There was some from Texas, but I do remember them saying St. John's was Brevard was 11. And that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And what you're seeing is that happening because there's a whole lot of money coming in from up north coming down south.
Robert McGee says, I don't ever want Stark becoming a Jacksonville. Just my personal opinion. Lifelong citizens of Stark, and I love the small town atmosphere. Sort of what we were all talking about. It's a daggum vicious circle. I mean, you're darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Well, It would take 100 years for this town to become Jacksonville if it was handled right, if not longer.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not becoming Jacksonville anytime soon. It shouldn't become Jacksonville.
It shouldn't at all.
Because it just needs growth.
Right.
That's all.
That's all. They had to have the special ice. Oh boy. And let me Michael's looking like you know nothing, Colonel Klink? Sergeant Schultz? Dave?
I knew the comment.
You know nothing. I knew it was coming too. I'm just keep moving. Edwin Bradford, with all that has been said, try being retired and live on a fixed income. And this is where I keep hammering. Everybody's like, man, you keep hammering that. Well, the problem is you got a lot of older, elderly people that live here that are on a steady income, probably ain't getting much raises, and if they do, it's the cost of living raise, if that's it at all. So I can understand Edward's point of view as well. Robert McGee says 35 Mike plus years with the city of Stark. Yep. Confidentiality, not what it should be. The walls don't talk as much as people do.
Fact.
Fact. There you go.
Fact.
Okay. Barbara Zipper from Lake Butler's watching. Barbara, hello. Robert McGee, here we go, Mike.
Okay.
Robert McGee says, you give me 2016.
Okay.
David Thea says, give him 2018.
Okay.
Randy Brooks says, give him 2018. Okay. Phil Jackson, the coach of the Lakers, says, give him 2018.
Okay.
How does he know? Phil Jackson from the Lakers?
You need to bring
and the Bulls
back, sir.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yes.
Well, you got to have a good general.
You got to have, never mind. Yeah, that's
Michael Jordan anymore.
Anthony Black from Tallahassee, Florida. The model, Dave, Sharon Pettigrew says 2018.
Okay.
Yep. Edward says 2018. Pepper Autistic 2018. Melissa Cribbs 2018. Denny Thompson's watching. How about that? Hey, he put on the cards, Denny. What's happening, brother?
See, Denny.
Oh, look who else is on. My brother from another mother and all you guys' brother from another mother, the sheriff, Gordon Smith. He says 2016, Gordon. Anthony Black, what's up, brother? Austin's Weather Service says hello to you there, sir. Janet Rolls on. Keep up the hard work, Austin, he says. Donnie Wiggs is on, and Phil Jackson smiling his tail off. After that LA Lakers and Chicago Bulls reference. All right, going around the table. Byron, what you got?
16.
Austin.
Well, this is funny that this comes up because Austin's Weather Service was established a month after this.
Okay.
2016.
All right.
2016.
Dave.
I'm going to probably throw out a 2018.
Okay. Michael can't. I'm going to go with the weather guy himself. I know a couple of those. I'm going 2016 as well. All right. Any more guesses, guys? All right, Mike. We've already checked the comments. Now we need to get the answer. Yeah, Michael's laughing. 2018.
Yes, indeed.
There you go. Shirley slipped in with 2018, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, she just got in. So
check my DOT sources. That's how I knew that. Yeah.
Hey, guys, if y'all don't know us by now,
for 38 years.
Dave, if they don't know us by now, Michael, we'll just throw, just to get people off.
Yeah.
Even though I did not know that answer, that was strictly a guess for me. But there's some that I do know that I've said the wrong answer just to throw people off.
Mine was total guess.
That was total guess? Well, good
I
job.
almost went with Gordon's guess.
Yeah, wow.
Now, to be fair,
Now, why did you, I want to ask you, Austin, why did you say 2016? I was pretty confident with you. That's why I went with you.
The reason why is because Austin's Weather Service is going to be 6 years old, literally on May 20th. I'm throwing people off.
Oh, you threw people off. So did you know the answer? Did you know the correct answer?
2018.
Wow. Hey, well, Michael, there you go about throwing people off, huh?
There you go.
Well, there you go. It must be great. So, all right, guys. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hey, Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And as we get ready to wind up the show, Mr. Byron Bagwell is going to give us some national news. Of course, he is the analyzer. He is the Byron Bagwell. He is the one that researches history. He is the one that knows politics. He is the one that knows our founding fathers. He is the one that knows about national government. He's the one that knows about presidency. He's the one that knows about the state of Florida and the governor and everything else, all the bills, everything. It's Mr. Byron Bagwell.
I wouldn't say everything, but close to it.
All right. Hey, well, look, you're the Count of Monte Fisco.
Oh, God. Here we go. That was Dave Holland.
Dave Holland.
What are you doing tonight? Yeah, thanks, Dave Holland.
You're welcome.
Good evening, infidels and patriots.
And miscreants.
And miscreants and ladies and gentlemen and everybody else.
He raised his hand.
Yeah, it is miscreant. Yeah. Speaking of miscreants, okay, so we have just a little tiny bit of history that I would like everybody to think about. Think back to your history lessons on World War II. What did Neville Chamberlain do when Hitler rolled into Poland? For those of you who don't know who Neville Chamberlain was, he was basically the leader of England, Britain, or Prime Minister of Britain at the time. Anybody know?
Nobody answered here.
Anybody know the answer to that?
Michael, you know the answer to that?
I'm not going to say it.
Do you know the answer to that there?
You're giving me the answer with your head.
Yeah.
He did nothing. Does not concern us. The reason I say that is because some of the things that are going on and happened in Poland during World War II at the beginning of it are going on in the Ukraine right now. And not only are we sitting here doing that, the majority of the world is doing basically nothing for the Ukraine. Putin is crazy. He's already killing innocent people. They've already proved it over and over and over again. And if you think, just like Hitler, he is going to stop in Ukraine like Hitler didn't stop in Poland, you are sadly mistaken. Because if he thinks he can go somewhere else in the Baltics, or he thinks he can go to the Czech Republic, he's going to do it. He has 75% of his military right now in the Ukraine, in one centralized location. And I'm going to borrow a quote from Back to the Future. Hello, McFly! He's got 3/4 of his army there! Stop the whole thing right now!
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop the whole thing right now! Somebody in the UN or NATO or... Well, it's not going to happen upstairs here.
No,
not from our commander-in-chief. But somebody somewhere do something. Do I think the Ukrainians can survive this after watching what they've done to the Russians so far?
Yes.
Yes, I do. But there is going to be a whole heck of a lot more people dead. Do something. More than what you've done, because the little games you played with, freezing their assets and all of that stuff, guess what? It didn't freeze the right things because they're still making money off their oil. Do something. Stop placating Putin like people did with Hitler. Remember, Adolf Hitler was Time Magazine's Person of the Year at one point. I don't care how much money your family or you in our government, and I am talking to the people in our government up in Washington, D.C., make off of investments that you have in Russia. I do not care at all, period. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be allowed to do that, period. But you better do something with Putin before he starts gaining more power, because he's already cranked up his industrial processes to create more military. You better do something now, or we're going to end up in another world war, because that guy is serious about reunifying the Soviet Union. He's stated it in writings that he's made, and that's exactly what he wants to do. Do something now.
That's a very good point, Byron, that you bring up there, because right now, like you said, not only are we not doing anything, like he just said, nobody's doing anything. Well, absolutely nothing.
They're giving them planes and missiles and arms to fight the Russians, which is something. But nobody's doing what they should be doing, which is cutting Putin completely off from the rest of the world, and then going, if you don't stop it, we're going to blow your army to smithereens, and we're not even going to do it with troops. We're just going to send in our air forces and navies, and we're going to blow you to smithereens. You won't have but a quarter of your forces anymore.
Byron, let me ask you a question on that.
Nobody has the nerve to do it.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. You know, I know this guy that we got as our president right now. He ain't going to do nothing, so I'm just going to pull him out of the equation.
Putin sock puppet?
So I'm going to pull him out of the equation. How come anybody else, Byron, hasn't done anything? Are they? Let me ask something. Are they scared? Are they afraid? Are they afraid of Putin's words with nuclear weapons? Is it a combination of all?
Here's the problem. Putin is not going to launch nuclear weapons.
No, he's not.
How many times do we hear that during the Cold War coming out of the USSR with stronger, smarter leaders that they had when we did things in Nicaragua? When we did things in Europe, when we did things to help other countries stop what the Russians were doing, or what the USSR was doing at that point. Saber rattle, we're going to blow you all up. Look, a dictator like Putin is not going to launch nuclear weapons at another country for the simple fact, when he does,
he's getting one back at him. And many more than that.
His country's going to be annihilated.
Yes, it is.
And him along with it. And the thing is people like that crave two things. They crave power, and they crave prestige. And he can have neither one of those if he's dead. That is the exact reason why Putin will never do that. The process he has to go through, he will never make it through either, because the generals and the people in that government will not let him get through it. And they will find him dead somewhere, because guess what he did to get in power? He killed a whole bunch of people in Russia to make it to the spot he's in. Don't think for a second that there's not more people just like him in Russia sitting there watching him, waiting for him to fail to take his spot. Because that's how communism works. Something needs to be done by somebody really strong and a decently powerful country. It's not coming from China. China's in bed with Russia. They're watching what the rest of the world is going to do, because they're going to do the same thing to Taiwan.
Yeah.
If we don't do the right thing. Joe Biden's not going to do it.
Nope.
So it's going to have to come from somebody else. The Prime Minister of England, it's not Tony Blair. What is his name? I can't remember the guy's name right now. I really am sorry. I can see his face clearly as day. But he's starting to do some more things for the Ukrainian people with arms and things like that.
Right.
And they're giving them planes too, from what I understand now. Look, it doesn't. If they cannot stand up to what is going on in the Ukraine, what makes you think they can stand up to the United States military or any really good military from around the world? And there's a bunch of them.
Oh, God, yes.
I would love to see Israel.
Israel. I was just going to say the Israel.
Oh, my Lord. 2 or 3 days, that would be over with.
Quick.
Boris Johnson is
There you go.
his
Nice,
name.
Mike.
I can see the guy's face just clearly. Dang, I couldn't think of his name. But Israel can't do that because Israel is in a bad spot right now with the Palestinians and everybody else that's around them. So, look, somebody needs to do something. Or a collective group of somebodies need to do something. NATO's not going to do it because they haven't threatened any NATO property. And I'm sitting here going, y'all are stupid. This man is going to next. Poland's right there.
Poland's right there.
The Czech Republic's right there. The Baltics are right there. The man wants to reunify the USSR. Stop him.
You know, I had a little vision the other night about, you were talking about empowering the Ukrainians with weapons and aircrafts and things like that. Well, you know what I was thinking the other night? If we'd have done the right thing.
During the Clinton administration?
Well, not just that. Something that happened recently, what you always talk about, the Afghanistan crisis. If we could have pulled all that military equipment out of there and given it to the Ukrainians, can you imagine what would be going on right now? The Ukrainians are holding their own, like Byron said, and I think they're whipping their tail in several places, aren't they?
They are really whipping the Russians.
Yeah, they are.
Different places.
Yes, they are.
They weren't getting Kiev.
No.
And I am so sick of hearing Kiev. It is not Kiev.
No.
It is Kiev. How come it takes a backwoods boy from Bradford County to actually pronounce a correct Russian name? I mean, that is insane that I am sitting here pronouncing it right. Nobody else is. It makes sense.
I feel better about it because all I could think of was Kiev lime pie.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go. Bam! All right.
Oh, it's going off the rails.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, look. Kudos to our governor for several different things. The first thing is the governor of Florida, too, by the way, is who I'm talking about,
Yes.
Ron DeSantis. They passed a bill, basically a bill. They basically had the Department of Education stop a bunch of different school books that were going out, math books in particular, that were teaching critical race theory and all of these gender issues and everything else to young students, so they got rid of the math books. This is what they did. Kudos to him for doing that. Second off, the so-called Don't Say Gay bill, please, any of you who want to challenge me on this, read the 6 pages of that bill and find where it says gay in that bill. Please show me where it says that. I would love to go on one of these national TV shows and read them that bill and go, did you read it? Because you didn't read it. All it does is it empowers parents to make the decision who sexually educate their kids from a certain age to a certain age, if they even want to do that, or not do it at all. It gives the parents the right to do that. It has nothing to do with any sort of discrimination against LGBTQ, QXYZ, whatever you want to call yourself now. It does nothing against that. All it does is stop teachers from talking to kids about sex to a certain age. That's all it does. And it's not specific about what it means. It just says sex in general, straight, lesbian, bi, whatever you want to call yourself. It stops teachers from doing it. That's all it does. kudos to him for doing that. Because guess what? Parents are getting awful mighty tired of sending their children to school and having to worry about what they're being taught by a teacher instead of reading math, history, and science. They're getting sick of that. They should be, because that's what schools should do. They should educate their children in those 4 basic subjects and some other subjects that are extracurricular, music and driver's ed and FFA and whatever else your child is into as far as those extracurricular activities are. You should not be teaching children about what they were teaching children about before that bill in Florida in some schools. I know Bradford County wasn't doing that at that time, but kudos to our governor. He did exactly what he should have done. One more thing before I cut this off.
Sure.
Can I say I absolutely love Elon Musk? The thought of dropping 47 or 48 billion dollars to buy Twitter.
Which I got something about that.
How can you? I can't wrap my head. Oh, he's got the spare change to just drop $48 billion on Twitter. First off, that's just props to him. Mad props for the way he's made money.
The profits that he's going to make off of that
Well,
is going to help fuel his other programs.
Here's the problem: Twitter is not worth anywhere near what he's offered.
No.
So what he's done is he's been very intelligent about this. He is about to create a war between their board and the shareholders, is what he's about to do. Because the shareholders are looking at this and going, I would love to sell my share of Twitter to Elon Musk for over twice what it's worth. Yes, please.
$59 a share.
And the board is
Is that what it is?
The board is sitting there going, you're not doing that. Because we're so far left that we don't believe in free speech. So it's about to get really ugly with Twitter. Mark my words.
Can you imagine being Elon Musk? Oh, let me have my breakfast. You know, guys, today, I just think I'll buy Twitter today for $48 billion.
I wish he would look at Bezos and go, Amazon, you're next.
Well, and he may. You never know. But anyway, I want to ask you something about that real quick.
Disney would be even better.
So, he owns 10%, right? It is 10% of Twitter.
I think
It's 9%.
9%. Okay, I knew it was somewhere there.
Somewhere close.
So he's got 9. And Mike, do you know how many shareholders are in
He's
that
the
Twitter?
biggest shareholder.
He is the biggest out of them all.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
There's thousands.
Thousands that are big time shareholders in this. I guess if you want to call big time having 2 or 3 or 4 shares.
Well, big time. You're $59.
Yeah, but what
share.
you just said at $59 a share. Now, what you just said is absolutely correct. That's what he's going to do. He's going to create a war inside that whole mix right there.
Because I can tell you right now, if I had 3,000 or 4,000 shares of that, and he offered me double of my share right now,
Here you
the way
go.
the economy is, I would be raising mortal Cain right now with that board.
So
Every day, guess on what? On Twitter.
But guess what, though? But you would probably opt to sell if he was offering you double or triple your share.
Oh, yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a
heartbeat.
heartbeat for that much
for
money.
that much money.
I mean, that's how the game is played. When somebody does something like that, you sell because you're making double. You're making double your money.
Right.
You're making your money back plus the same amount again. I mean, that's how that game is played. That's how people make lots of money trading stocks.
Right.
So, shares, stocks.
Stocks, it's all the same.
I mean,
It all ties in. It all ties in.
He is extremely smart. Elon Musk is who I'm still talking about, and he is about to teach those idiots on the board of Twitter just how smart he is, because he's about to wrap them not only up with that problem, but he's about to wrap them up with several lawsuits. Because you have to, your shareholders, you have to take their interest into account. And if they're going to make that much money, there are laws that states you can't do things like say they can't. They're about to have an issue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's brilliant the way he's gone about that.
Sure
I
has.
just wanted to throw that out because I absolutely, utterly abhor him. Twitter.
Me too.
I can't
Me
stand
too.
it.
I can't either. Do you have a Twitter account?
I used to a long time
I
ago.
do too. Mine's stagnant, probably.
Well,
Do you have one?
Same.
Stagnant.
I canceled
Dave
it
don't even have
or
one.
turned it off or did whatever I could
Yeah.
because I couldn't say anything.
Nope.
Every time I say something, somebody would erase it. It's
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of discussion? That's what the problem is. You're afraid of discussion.
I'm going to tell you
You're
something
right, I'm
Elon
wrong.
Musk ain't afraid of. He ain't afraid of discussion. Ooh, no. All right, guys. Hey, it's been a great show, man. I tell you what, a lot of entertaining things, a lot of stuff to talk about. I do want to throw out something to our viewers, Byron, that listen from the region, outside the region. You know what I mean? Locally here, the state of Florida. If you live in the state of Alabama, if you live in the state of Mississippi, if you live wherever, and there's a subject you want to talk about, all you got to do is email us on the spot, 32091@gmail.com, and you can throw that subject out there, and if you give us enough time, Byron, we can all research it, and we can talk about what's happening in your community. Renee, I would love to talk about what's happening in Pascagoula. What's going on there? Or Birmingham, Alabama.
Or we could talk
Nashville.
I mentioned Disney. We could talk about
We
how
talk-
they've really stuck their foot in their mouth.
Sure,
The
we
stocks are and their profits
Yes.
are going in the toilet.
We may do that. We may talk about Disney. Or wherever you're at, I'll invite you to give us a subject, send us a newspaper article, whatever you need to do. Michael checks that every day. Byron, we all check it every day. And we can get back with you on that. I'd love to talk about some other places as well.
I mean,
But, man, we're wide open. That's why we're called On the Spot, man, because, David, we're wide open. We'll talk about anything, anywhere, anytime, any place.
I went from one spot on the globe to another.
To another spot on the globe.
tonight.
Yes, you did. Dave, can you pull up the weather so my buddy there can do a quick final weather report? That was a great topic, Byron, by the way. And as Dave's getting that ready.
Yep, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the numbers here real fast. We'll start with the pollen numbers like that. And the pollen numbers, it was bad today. The good news is, if you can call it good, is that the numbers are dropping. Okay, not really, but I'm trying to make the guys feel better.
Yeah, you are.
9.2 to 9.4 is going to be the average as we run through the weekend. Not much of a change because there's not much rain in the forecast. What's beautiful about that is that if you have plans such as renovating an old house and laying floors.
Saturday, no rain in the forecast.
Some fishing tournaments.
Fishing tournaments are coming along.
Mowing grass, going to do a DJ service. Hey,
you
whatever.
name it.
Yep.
So across the region, though, beautiful conditions. I mean, not a cloud in the sky. This is a radar shot for tomorrow morning of Futurecast. You'll see how we've got temperatures in the 70s, 68 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Wow.
Going to be a beautiful day. 80s across the state of Florida. Humidity starting to tick up a little bit higher. Not too bad, though. Looking at the local forecast, next 3 days, Wednesday, beautiful Chamber of Commerce weather, not a cloud in the sky. But then the clouds start rolling in. Partly cloudy skies through the weekend. Look for highs in the lower 80s. Your lows right around 60 degrees. Very comfortable like that. Sun will be burning and doing very well. Looking forward to it. And I strongly suggest you get out and enjoy it before the humidity and the heat really start building as we make our way into the month of May and the summertime.
All right, Mike. I appreciate that great weather report. I tell you, man. You know, it's been great joining. You joining us. Dave pushed Michael in here, I think. Did you, Mike? Hey, I was trying to slide over, Dave.
He kind of
Dave, did you do that, Dave?
He did that.
He says no. Byron, will you do me a favor? Will you tell Dave? Fire Dave Holland.
No.
Fire him
I'm not
now.
firing Dave Holland. I'm sorry. I'm not
Yeah.
I do have a question
Sure.
for you before we end the show tonight.
Sure.
How many days are left until Bradford County football?
Oh my goodness, I know that, and I know it because I just did the report on Monday.
Yeah.
We are down to 129 days to tornado football.
Ready.
4 months, so we're ready.
4 months.
Michael does the command center over there, does a lot of different things. He's going to be involved because we're all part of the boosters. Now he's going to be involved with some other things. Me and Byron's going to be calling games away and home. Dave Holland's going to be helping us do some tapings and some things like that. So we're all going to be involved. And by the way, Renee Stegall-Shaw just said something we'll talk about. I want to, before we go off the show there, there's no longer a local newspaper in Pascagoula. Check sunherald.com. They cover South Mississippi. There's also a Facebook page titled Let's Talk Pascagoula, where folks vent their opinions. And you know what that word means. Yeah, I do know what that word means. So David Theus even said 129 days as well. Absolutely. David must be a big sports fan. So glad to have him on board. But anyway, God bless you guys. I love each and every one of you. Thank you, audience, for tuning in each and every week. You keep the viewership up and the numbers up. Like I said, we're just trying to bring you the best product that we can each and every week.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we do a good job at that, Dave. I don't think anybody does it better than us. So, Dave, real quick, hours at the shop. Give a plug real quick. Hours at the shop.
Monday through
Yes.
Saturday,
Yes.
9 to 5.
Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5. We're shutting it down on Sunday, right, Dave?
Correct.
Okay, correct. Michael, anything coming up with Fantastic really quick?
Really quick, it's going to be a very busy weekend. We've got two
Okay.
major events coming up this Saturday. Actually, a third one with autism, but that's a separate issue like that one. If you are into, and this is a Mitchell Gunner thing like that, there is the motor surf competition is going on at Keystone Beach this weekend
Wow.
on Saturday. Motorized surfboards. CBS Sports will be on site to be able to do they're going to be doing some video, and they're going to actually put together a program on that one. The Fantastic Fire Brigade is asked by the city of Keystone Heights to provide some transportation services, which we will do. And if you want to get out and play with a fire truck, then we invite you to the Melrose Fire Fest on Saturday from 10 until 4, where they're doing a fundraising event for the Melrose Fire Department. I personally am involved in that because that's where I got my start back when we had horse-drawn fire engines. Anyway, we're going to have Ladder 17 on display. The kids will be able to spray some water, be able to put the big American flag up in the air. It's going to be a lot of fun, done by also the Fantastic Fire Brigade growing. And if you haven't already seen it, check out our Facebook page because Jambulance 17 will be making its grand appearance in Stark this week.
What you got cooking? Want to show everybody? What you got cooking this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to fish in a fishing tournament.
There you go. All right. There you go.
I'm going to go have a good time. It's been a while since I've fished in a fishing tournament.
There you go.
I got
Dave,
invited.
you're
I'm
going.
going.
There you go. Very well. Dave, you're going to be cutting hair and riding motorcycles, right?
I think
take
so.
Take you a long, nice little trip somewhere.
Weatherman gave me
The thumbs up.
The thumbs up, yeah.
Go for it.
Hey, I'm good with that. And Saturday for me, I've got a wedding that I'm going to be doing. I think y'all know them, Jim and Sherry. I'll be doing their wedding in Palm Coast. That's from 6 to 11. Got to get down there and get set up and all that. Should be a pretty day for that. And after that, Sunday, Dave, I think I'm going to come get your other bike, and I'm going to take off the other way.
There you go.
Or I'll come meet you wherever you're at.
Yeah, well, let's go together.
Okay, you want to wait till Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sunday's a good day.
Sunday's a good day.
There you go.
All right. So on behalf of Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Dave Holland, Mr. Michael Heater, Mr. Mitchell Gunner, who wasn't here, also Mr. Austin Stevens, and myself, God bless you guys. Thank you for joining in. We love each and every one of you. Peace. Have a great week.